we're here at Yorkdale Mall. We're going to visit a couple of our clients. We have to do some adjustments on some of the video walls. People always ask us, where do I use video walls? So in retail here, grabbing somebody's attention is pretty important. So Dave and I are going to show you some of the most current and some of the older technology that's been here. So LCD screens versus video walls. When you're investing in digital technology, you have to invest for the long term and keep it maintained. So we're here to do some maintenance today on some of our clients' technologies. Let's go take a look around. Yeah, so video walls, the key things to think about is the brightness, but also the pixel pitch. So Dave?
The density, the pixel pitch refers to the pixel density, which refers to the resolution. The pixels are only visible from very close. It's, if I had to guess, I mean, maybe it's a 1.2 millimeter, maybe as much as 1.5. That's the distance from the center of one pixel to the center of the pixel next to it. But I mean, it looks really high res. I mean, it's basically 4K resolution, which at that size is pretty rare. Yeah. It's usually the bigger the screen, the lower the resolution.
And there are obviously different qualities and brands, so how long these things are going to last is a big thing. So right behind us here is a hidden little gem.
Yeah, behind this poster.
There's two video walls here, and they're actually been covered up because they're malfunctioning. But one of you...
these were low resolution.
Yeah. And you can see the pixel pitch there.
You can see the pixels there, you see that?
So what is that, about
that's probably
2 mil?
5 millimeter.
5 mil.
Or 6 millimeter. 6 millimeters a common
ultra
size.
low res.
Yeah.
So you would see that more on an outdoors where you're like driving on the highway, you'd see a video wall.
Yeah, if it's viewed from very far away, it looks high definition.
So it still looks great when it's viewed from far away, but that technology shouldn't have been where people can walk 10 feet away from it and be able to view
that's been there for a long time before the Aritzia screen. So I'm going to guess at some point the hardware probably started failing and they determined it wasn't worth replacing it or maintaining it, so they just covered it up with a poster. It's kind of sad actually.
The Fruit Bubble Tea store has a digital menu board. There's a couple things wrong with it right now though.
Yeah, number one, the bottom right end of the screen is totally black. There's a giant section missing an image.
So there's a whole section of panels not working.
And then right away you can see the writing is very blurry, which I think is a symptom of having chosen a screen that's not high enough resolution. It could be the content, but they were showing a video on there a little while ago. And it looked pretty good except for the writing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately probably a decision based on budget instead of functionality. It should have been at least one step smaller in pixel pitch.
Here we were working with the designer and their vision was to have the airplane windows looking out to the sky. So you're looking at moving clouds, but this is basically 3 individual video walls hidden behind panels. So it was a lot of work to do with the mill workers. We work obviously with the designers, the interior designers that put this space together.
It's actually programmed to act as one giant video wall
with space in between.
With big gaps in between them. So the content is actually created with those gaps in place. And the reason why they did that is as the clouds are passing, there's some clouds that look like handbags. They don't just jump from one screen to the next.
So the other thing is all of that technology is sitting back in a server room in the back of the store. So from a planning standpoint, we had to get wiring back to the controller, call it, or the HDMI source. And that source is also available to be remotely managed. Yep. So Dave works with the team, the IT team.
Yeah, every once in a while they'll contact us and ask us to change the content from the clouds to something else to match whatever the current promotion is, and it just takes a minute online. TVs that are stacked, and unfortunately they're a little misaligned, they're a little dirty, but it really is just the same kind of TV you have at home, just made with very small bezels. These are actually big by today's standards.
These are probably older technology.
These are probably 3.5 millimeter. These days we're using bezels that are less than 1 millimeter thick, actually less than 0.5 millimeter thick. They're almost bezel-less. And
well, the one big
they would also be a lot brighter than these displays too. So this is just a little bit older, bit older example.
The major benefit of this is the resolution. You're getting very high resolution up close.
Each panel is 1080p, and then of course you combine them and you get a 4K display.
So we were brought in by the design team when they were building out the store, and one of the visions was a beautiful display right in the front window here. So on the right is a video wall.
Thank you very much.
A little bit off, and Dave's going to do a quick adjustment.
There you go, that's better. Install these 65-inch.
Oh, is there two of them?
LCD displays in portrait. The one at the back, and there's another one on the right there.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, those are Samsung commercial displays, and
they custom made this entire frame overseas. That was shipped in.
Yeah, the frame was custom made and shipped, and then when it got here, we had to figure out how to install it. Each panel can be popped straight out and then replaced. We have extra panels that came with it. That's important because if we ordered brand new panels from the manufacturer, no matter how hard they tried, that one new panel would look different than all the panels around it, just because of manufacture date and slight differences in the electronics. So we always have
budget?
extra.
At least 10%?
It's 10%, generally speaking, although
so if this is comprised of 80 panels, we'll be shipping 88, 90 panels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is probably a 2.5 millimeter pixel pitch. You can see close up, it doesn't look very high res, but as soon as you step back 10, 12 feet, it looks great. And the further back you get, the better it looks. And that's the whole concept. You see from here, it looks seamless, right? We're at about, I don't know, 18 feet away, maybe 20 feet away. And it's seamless, it's perfect.
Dave, what resolution is that?
Maybe 2.5, just looking at it. I bet you it's about a 2.5 millimeter. Yeah.
Not necessarily our customer, but
how old do you think this store is?
This store has been here at least 5 years. It was here before COVID.
Because you see what they've done is they've gone with, purposely, this is not an accident. They went with these smaller LCD video wall displays because they wanted to create this look with the grid. That's the only explanation for why they chose these smaller LCD panels. I guess you might look at it and think they went cheap, but I think this is actually a look that they were going for to make it almost a little bit retro. Because of the size of these panels, again, they're probably 49 inches each, which is still being made, but only for a little while longer. The biggest issue is the way they were mounted. You can see they're not aligned properly, so the displays are kind of staggered and jagged. That's actually the biggest challenge with an LCD video wall, is making those micro adjustments. The brackets that hold these displays are for good brackets that have very fine, very precise adjustments. They're over $1,000 each mount, and then plus the display. So in some instances with a 49-inch display, the cost of the mount might equal the cost of the display, and then the labor is hours and hours of fine adjustments to get these panels aligned on the X and the Y axis. It's very, very tricky.
You see how they mixed in, so this is print, that's backlit.
Yeah.
It really pops, so it makes it look digital, but it's not. It's actually just print material.
It's just posters, backlit posters, yeah.
Excellent mix of
it's a great looking store. It's cool.
Yeah. All right, let's look at our Terex next. I hadn't seen this store, I don't know when it opened, but this is an amazing use of
I gotta get close, I gotta see
video
what
wall
it is.
technology. So it's front and center.
Wow.
That's an interesting corner.
Look, you can see the panels, how they come apart and go together. Like they're all loose. The whole thing is just a floating
magnetic
series of tile art. I mean, this installation must have been an incredible challenge.
So Dave, one of the other things that's an option on, to make it a little less expensive is whether you are able to touch the pixels or not. So this is covered in a material, almost like an epoxy.
They call it a glue on board.
Glue on board, yeah.
Which makes it durable.
So you can touch it, nobody's gonna damage it. But if you have something that's a little bit removed from anybody's hands, little hands, or physical touch, or a ball being thrown at it, you can actually go with just a general pixel, but they're more fragile.
Things, so glue on board was frowned upon by certain manufacturers because the glue in some instances, based on UV and everything, might yellow over time. So it would affect the warmness of the screen, it would affect the whites. The whites wouldn't look so white anymore, but they've improved the process, the chemical composition, and people aren't really too concerned about that now. So basically all the manufacturers are going to glue on board. Actually LG
So check this out,
has
though.
recently told us they're going to be doing mostly glue on board.
So a lot of this physical installation here is to cover up the edges. You can see where the edges
Yeah,
of the
you can see the panels stopped.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's an amazing video wall, though.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so the smaller the panels, the panels themselves aren't curved. They can be.
Well, there are
some. They're even more expensive.
Yeah, it's less common.
But because they're flat and they're about this big, you can actually just slowly curve them, and it looks like a perfect
You can see
curve.
right where between the C and the T, there's a
There's
joint
a sharp edge. Yeah.
where they kind of made a bit of a turn, and then there's another one a little further
you
down.
can see it at the very top there.
Yeah.
If you look at the ceiling.
It comes to kind of a point, but it's still very impressive. And again, these are meant to be viewed from a distance, and that looks amazing. I actually like the low-key kind of content they're showing on it.
It's very still.
They could do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. I mean, if you just glanced at it, it doesn't even look like it's moving. Like the clouds are rolling by, the little hiker is climbing the hill. That's awesome content.